Another day, another tax credit scam. So the IRS put this out today about this scam that's targeting clean energy tax credits. I'm not surprised to see this just because of the amount of scamming that goes on in credit programs. But basically what you need to know about this is that for some of the clean energy credits that came out, there were transferability rules that were in place so that you actually can buy these credits and they can be transferred. It's just that most people aren't going to be able to take advantage of it. So the scam in particular, they've mentioned that it's targeting individuals who file Form 1040. So those are people where it's just individual people where they mostly have, W-2 income or some kind of active style income. But when you're purchasing these tax credits, they're subject to the passive activity rules, which are complicated, and unless you have a lot of other passive income, there's no way for that to apply and net against active income. And basically what they're saying is happening is that there are tax professionals out there who are pushing these and selling these, and basically what people don't realize a lot of the time is that when you go to file a tax return, you can put anything you want on a tax return and submit it to the IRS, right? It's a voluntary system. It's kind of like a farmer's market, like a farm stand where it's an honor system. And so it's really easy for somebody who has a bad intent to file a tax return trying to claim these as active and trying to net them against active income where that's an improper treatment. It's easy for them to attempt to do this. And, when they go to submit your return, they can say, oh, here's what it's going to look like. This is great. You qualify for all of this. And here's the return. And here's a copy of the return. And we're going to submit it. And it gets submitted and it gets accepted. And you as the taxpayer are like, oh, well, that should be fine, right? The IRS would reject this if I wasn't actually eligible for it or if this was wrong. That's not how our system works. You can have somebody that files tax returns that are incorrect, taking these kinds of positions, and you won't know until it gets flagged for selection or there's some kind of audit that gets initiated from it. And that process usually happens, it can happen fairly close depending on the analytical systems within the IRS, or it can take years for them to come back if it's a completely manual process, which given that this is newer law, I think that's how it's playing out right now. So you just have to watch out if you're seeing any of this, if you're having clients approach you where they're getting pushed into doing these tax credit programs. If they feel like they're getting sold into a credit, you have to be very cautious about that. So definitely something to keep aware of in the scams. And then if you do come across anybody that's pushing these, they do have this form 14242 for reporting. And you can actually also do a whistleblower claim potentially. But I would say definitely watch out for these, and anybody who feels like they're selling them to you, be a little bit skeptical of that. But it is a legitimate thing that you can do with purchasing and transferring these credits. It's just you have to make sure that the taxpayer doing it is actually eligible for it and has passive income that can be applied against them. So another day, another scam.